Morning, everybody. This week's Parsha is Parshas Vayakhel and Pekudei for those that are following the full. Okay. So there was once a course for tourists, Jewish tourists. They stopped by a Chabad house, and they got some good food, nice, good hot food, and they got a chance to put on tefillin. They got a chance to find out what's going on in town. And the rabbi utilized this opportunity to give them a quick Jewish class. So at the end of the class, one of the participants goes over to the rabbi and he says, it was very nice, the class was very nice, I really enjoyed it, and you explained some very nice concepts. I have one question for you. Are the little details so important to Hashem that does it really make a difference if I light a fire on Shabbos, I don't light a fire on Shabbos? If I wait specifically 6 hours between meat and milk, does it really, really make a difference? We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company. Does it make a difference if, a couple of things here, I pulled a couple of cents over here and a couple of cents over there, or however you want to look at it. So the rabbi is thinking how to answer this man. So he says, there's another rabbi. His name is Rabbi Moss in Australia. This Rabbi Moss in Australia, he's known to have a question and answers. Like he has a website, people ask him questions. He's also, in conjunction with Chabad.org. So one of his regulars that asks him questions asked him this same question. Rabbi, I ask all these questions. I have another question for you. By the way, does it really make a difference to God if I keep 6 hours or 2 hours or 5 hours, if I kept Shabbos this way or that way, 2 minutes before? So a couple of days passed and he didn't get an answer. He didn't get an answer from the rabbi. So he writes another email to the rabbi. He says, Rabbi, usually you're on top of the game. You answer me right away. This time you didn't answer me. I'm guessing you don't have an answer for me. So the rabbi writes him back, actually I did have an answer for you. I do have an answer. Not only that, I wrote the answer. The only thing is, when I wrote your email, I forgot to put in the .com. I wrote gmail.com, and it didn't get to you. So I went to find out from my technician what's going on, and he explained to me that the way the computer works, every dot, it's all zeros and ones, and if you don't have that dot, it ain't going anywhere, right? It's a gate garnished. So, if that's the way it's working with the computer, and if you want to know, go figure it out. Study computers. Study how things work, the whole technical side of it, and you'll understand clearly why every dot and every letter makes such a difference. It's all or nothing. So he says, now if you have the same question about Yiddishkeit, about Judaism, study Judaism, understand that every commandment has exactly the reason why it's that way and not something else, and understand the fact that what we do in this way and that way, and then you'll see that everything is exact. So this is a very interesting point when it comes to this week's Parsha and the previous Parshas, where Hashem is commanding the Jewish people to build a tabernacle. I want you to do it this way and I want you to do it that way. You have to understand that everything is exact. The whole system has to be exact. When you're building a house, if you build one wall crooked, everything is crooked. Once it's not square anymore. Nothing is square. Right? Then you have to start figuring out how to compensate for that. So this is the same thing. There's also a similar question that was asked once to a rabbi, another Chabad rabbi, on the radio. I think this was in the 70s. And he kind of gave an answer, but not a complete answer. And the Lubavitch Rebbe spoke about it in a Sikha, and he explained that we could learn from, I don't remember the exact details now, but basically there was a space shuttle that went up at that time, and it exploded. Why? And they figured out there was one loose screw. One loose compartment that was not fully dust, and the whole thing, a space shuttle. You know how big a space shuttle is? You know how many screws it has? You know how many? One screw, the whole thing went pfeifen. Same thing when it comes to Shabbos, when it comes to kashrus, when it comes to anything that we can do, we have to understand that it's one screw. It's one part, but that one part, it can make a whole different effect in the whole world. So we have to understand the power, the opportunity of building a tabernacle that we have. We can build a place for Hashem in this world, whether it's in our hearts, whether it's in our house, whether it's in our community, whether it's globally speaking, whatever it is that we do, there's a tremendous ripple effect that's happening within ourselves and within everybody around us, that when we do good things, we can create and we can transform this world into a better place, into a place that Hashem says He's comfortable being here, He's with us, and you're already riding on His shoulders versus trying to figure it out on our own. So Hashem should bless us, that we should be inspired to do so. We should see the meaning, understand what it's all about, and we should be able to be zeicha to the coming of Mashiach, when the whole world will be transformed to the best place ever. B'karav mamash. Amen. Amen.